And let's start with a bit of big news this morning. We're recording this on Wednesday around noon.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson out for the season in Indianapolis. He is electing to get surgery on his throwing shoulder. He is done for his rookie year after, I don't know, let's graciously call it 4 games, even though he missed chunks of most of the games that he played in. First reaction when you saw that Anthony Richardson would not be playing football again this season?
A little upset just because I wanted to watch him play. I mean, obviously, like from a fan standpoint, the dude was electric and honestly showed a ton of promise. In my opinion, the games that he did play and that offense that they put around him, I thought it was going to be a little special. And, obviously fans go back and forth, people go back and forth. And you saw Jim Irsay's statement on Twitter, like, hey, like there were lots of opinions. Our doctors agree. He agrees that this is probably our best move forward. And I mean, even if you were to not have surgery and rehab it, I think it's probably a little worse than people might have let on for it to be. I mean, he would still miss 6 to 8 weeks, and then there's a chance of re-injury. It doesn't heal properly. Like they have the macro in their heads in terms of like, hey, we're looking forward to the future, and it's still a tough decision because you brought Gardner Minshew in, knows the offense, has played okay, but you're at least hoping to give your guy Anthony Richardson like 17 games. Forget, who cares if we make the playoffs? Like that experience factor that a lot of people don't understand, that you truly have to play the position and play in games and go through situations, good, bad, and different, to actually get that experience. And there's no way around it. You can't tell me right here, and I've seen fans already say, well, he got enough experience in practice. No, there's nothing like game experience because it just moves faster. I don't care what you do anywhere in the world. You can't simulate a game, and you can't simulate the pressure that these guys face, specifically the quarterback position in games.
I'm curious, what do you think is the biggest thing that changes from learning the game on the board, in the meeting room, on tape, to actually experiencing it in a game? What is the biggest gap that there's just no way you're going to get the right reps unless it's at live speed?
Well, the speed of the game. That's literally the number one thing.
Just getting used to it, getting a sense of it.
Just getting used to it. And not only like, hey, you can actually, at least in my opinion, you can actually go out with your receivers in the summer or in camp and have a good 45-minute to an hour-long throwing session, and it can be full speed. And you can get on the same page as terms of tight ends, running backs, receivers as the quarterback. You can build that timing. I agree with that. Okay. I'm talking about speed of the game in terms of filling the pocket, right? Because there's nothing you can do. Even in practice, guys are wearing red jerseys saying, stay away from the quarterback, stay away from the quarterback. And very rarely, I'd say like 30 to 35% of throws in the NFL are in a clean pocket. Like you're constantly moving, you're constantly having to switch positions, to switch your platform, to switch your arm angle. You can't do that in 7-on-7 or shorts or anything like that. You have to be able to feel everything around you for you to get that timing in your head and say, hey, okay, let's look at this film. I was sped up on this. Why was I sped up on this play? Well, okay, look, there's no one around you. You're not seeing ghosts. Just like you have to get into that rhythm. And the only way to do that is compounding games together and getting these games flowing back and forth. So that's probably the worst part of this whole situation for him, is he's not going to gain the experience.
My first reaction, bummer. Like, this sucks. He is so fun to watch. He was electric in the moments that we got to see him. I was so excited about what that offense would look like with him in it. So that's reaction one. Reaction two is, you're talking about that experience. This is a guy who started a dozen games in college. The experience for him was arguably more important than it would be for any highly drafted young quarterback to come along in years. And now you lose out on that. At the same time, you get how the Colts landed here on a bunch of different levels. If it were any other organization, maybe they talk themselves into, he can rehab it. It's 6 weeks. The experience of him being on the field is more important than whatever long-term injury risks we're going to weigh. And talking to people there this morning, the Andrew Luck thing is on their minds. It absolutely
100%.
is. They are not going to ruin another quarterback. They are taking the longest view possible on this because of what they've already been through in that building, in that organization. From the outside looking in, it'd be easy to speculate maybe that's part of the decision making. I can 100% tell you that it is. So them keeping that in mind, it's not surprising based on what this team and what this organization has been through over the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's just an interesting situation because you go back to the Andrew Luck situation and man, especially with Ballard there and the amount of head coaches they've been through, it's just like, look, there's no more, and we've talked about it a lot before, and you agree, there's no more important position in sports than quarterback in the entire world. Like, I don't care what you say.
I'd love to see what the pushback on that would look like. What my counter argument would be. Maybe I'll try to come up with one just for the sake of it.
Yeah. But like you would say that there's nothing that rides more on a team's success in any type of sport than the quarterback's play and the quarterback's progression as he continues to get. Everyone's constantly searching. There's 5 to 8 teams right now that are like, we have our guy, and then there's another 5 or 8 that are like, well, we don't know, maybe. And then there's 5 to 10 teams that are like, we don't have our guy. Like, let's look to this draft. And that's just how it always is. It's constantly evolving. You leave no stone unturned. I mean, until you find your guy. Look at the San Francisco 49ers with Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant. You got Jimmy G coming in. You trade up. You mortgage the franchise for Trey Lance. And then all of a sudden, hey, it's Mr. Irrelevant. It's last pick of draft. Look what we found. Like, awesome. Like, we're great. Look at our scouting department. No one else wanted them. Okay, that's awesome. But I feel like this is a situation because they are all in behind Anthony Richardson that they truly believe he could be the bedrock foundation of that organization.
I think that's also part of this, is that this question of, do we have the guy? They think they do. They've seen enough from him already, whether it was in training camp, the first little flashes that we got over the first month of the season, to feel good about where he's going to be at going into year 2. Still a bummer. Still a real disappointment as a football fan that we're not going to be able to see this.